It's Mark from the Nautical Archaeology Society. We're in Stokes Bay in Gosport in Hampshire, and we're here today to look at a stone anchor. Nick has kindly brought a stone anchor along. Nick, where did this come from?
This came from the middle of Dalston Bay, which is just off the Dorset coast.
Underwater?
Found underwater by one of the local divers. So a diver would look at that and see the regular outline, which isn't natural, and then two very, very square holes in the anchor, or the stone at the time. And when they brought it up, it was obvious it's a classical stone anchor, which we find, interestingly, all the way along the Dorset coast.
So we've got these two holes at the bottom, which presumably spikes of what would have gone through?
Yeah, it would have been wood. And then what's interesting is this would have had a third hole at the top where the rope went through. But sadly, it's broken off. And if we look closely, we can see the groove of where the hole had been cut through the stone.
So this groove, yeah, it definitely looks like there's some sort of groove here. So the rope presumably went through here, and then there was stone covering that, and then eventually the fishermen were pulling on it, and the stone broke away and they lost their anchor. Now, Nick, thanks to funding from the Honor Frost Foundation, we've got an app that we can use on our mobile phone to record your anchor and add it to their global database.
That's really, really useful.
So let's open the app. We're going to add new anchor, and look at that, stone anchor. Looks almost like yours.
It does.
The next part in the app is to what type of anchor it is. So we've got a drop down here, and it's no holes, one hole two, classic style or Indian Ocean. So do you know what this is?
Looking at the two holes and the remains of one, I'd say that's a classic style.
Yeah, I would agree. Classic three-holed anchor. And the type of stone?
From where it was found and what I know of it, that is Purbeck stone.
So that's Purbeck stone. That's a good type of geology. And then the weight. What about how heavy this is?
Well, when we first got it, we took some basic measurements and weighed it, and it's about 22 kilos. 22. Okay, we're done. So we're going to add some photographs now, yeah?
Let's open camera, and we can simply take some pictures from different angles, different orientations of our anchor. I'm going to come straight from above, I think, to start with. So I've taken a plan view. Are you happy with that photo?
That looks good to me.
Okay, let's use that photo then. And this is a general view of the entire anchor. I'm going to say from above, and we'll use that one. Should we take another one? What should we take a picture of?
The holes would be really good because they're quite diagnostic.
Okay, let's take a picture of the holes, and then we'll also take a picture of that groove at the top. So I can just open my camera again. They are very regular, aren't they?
That's quite unusual. Normally they are slightly rounded, or they go in and out. This one's just dead square.
Okay, that's detailed view. We're going to call that stock hole, and then we'll do one last one. Let's do one of the groove at the top, so I can get a really good view from there. Actually, the groove shows up really nicely. I'll use that photo. Having taken the photographs, Nick, the next thing we're going to do is add the location, and we can add its current location, but that's artificially here on a table on a beach. So what we want to do is choose location of where the find was made. Where was the find spot?
Let's sort of move the map around a bit and zoom in closely.
Okay. Where do we want to find? Dorset.
Dorset. Isle of Purbeck. I think that's a pretty good fit.
Okay, so we can confirm that location just by pressing confirm. Okay, and the latitude and longitude has changed to that. Okay?
Good.
Whenever we add a new anchor into the app, then we need to tell the app who it is that's doing the record and when we're doing it. So let's just put our names in again. Mark Beattie Edwards and Nick Reed, and then NAS for the name of the organisation, and then the date we're doing the record.
So this would help if there were any queries about the anchor, you'd know who to go to.
Absolutely. The moderators would know who to contact to ask any questions.
So what's next?
Well, next we're looking at the context. So where has it come from? Where is it now? Is it on a wreck site? Is it in situ but isolated? Is it in a museum or collection on land not associated with the museum? Or is it part of a paper or a treatise, as in is it in a document? So this one is an interesting one because it's in private collection, it's not in a museum, and it's on land presumably. Where is it kept normally?
It's actually kept with a collection of anchors that I've got in my garden.
Okay, so we don't want people coming knocking on your door. Okay, so we'll put on land not associated with a museum. We can write a description next. Okay, so name of site and a brief description of location. So in the brief description we're going to put found Durlston Bay, now in private collection. Next. Right, now we're looking at date and origin. So difficult with stone anchors, incredibly difficult. And when do you think this could have been in use?
I would have thought, looking at it, probably certainly the 1800s, not much older than that. And I know, looking at the stone, it is local stone from Dorset.
Okay, so its origin, we're happy that it comes from the local area, but in terms of date, do you want to put 1800 plus or minus?
Plus or minus 50 years.
Plus or minus 50.
Comfortable.
Because these things, of course, have been developed for centuries, but then have been in use. I mean, probably there are fishermen still in Dorset that use stone weights as anchors.
Certainly, down at Chisel Beach, you can find little fishing boats with their pot weights, etc., made out of the local stone.
Okay, so it could still be in use. So let's put origin Dorset, as most likely it's made of local stone. Okay, confidence of origin, pretty confident. We're going to put probable. We don't know the name of the ship that this would have come from or the name of the boat, so I think for date and origin, that's pretty much all we can do.
Should we do some measuring now then, Mark?
Absolutely, the final step in the process. Let's add some measurements. So we'll take the length. What length have you got there, Nick?
I've got 45.5 centimetres.
Okay, and then the width, so the maximum width. It's going to be from there, I suppose, in terms of... I'm missing a little corner here, aren't I? I think that's probably weathered out,
Yeah.
or maybe... we can only measure what there is, so let's measure from there to there.
Okay. That's 38.5 centimetres.
Now we need its thickness at the thickest point, Nick, so I think that's here, Nick.
Okay, so if I put the tape measure down, happy with that?
I am happy with that. We're going to measure that at 8 centimetres.
So, are the position of the holes important, do you think?
Absolutely, and in fact the last thing that we need to do is add the measurements of the locations of the 3 holes. Now, our first one, hole A, at the top isn't there. So actually we can't put any dimensions in for that one. But what we can do is we can measure the location of hole B and hole C, and just take this measurement here for me, Nick. Take that measurement. So this is for hole B.
I'd say 6.5 centimetres, Mark.
And then for this one over here, hole C, the third hole. Bring that in.
Slightly less, I'd say that's 5.5 centimetres.
Okay.
But as you said, it looks like the corner has been knocked off.
Yeah, but we can draw this from the photographs, and adding the measurements in, we'd be able to position this hole. So as far as the app is concerned, we can now press submit. Happy with that?
Happy with that?
Let's submit it to the database.